Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the ultimate roadmap for navigating the 2026 landscape of learning and development. Look, if you've been paying attention to the workplace lately, you already know that employee training has shifted drastically, right? I mean, we're moving way beyond simple content creation and heading straight into highly strategic, data-driven upskilling. Let's dive right into this material together, because honestly, the opportunities here are absolutely incredible. To kick things off, let's ask ourselves a pivotal question. What exactly happens when you decide to take your skills as an educator and transition into the corporate world of employee training? A lot of teachers feel kind of stuck. They think their skills only apply to younger students in a traditional school setting. But as we're about to see, the modern corporate world desperately needs exactly what you already know how to do. Okay, here's our agenda for today. We're going to cover breaking into the L&D field, mastering the future-proof L&D skills you'll need, understanding the Kirkpatrick evaluation model, and finally, proving your L&D ROI. Let's get right to it. Section 1. Breaking into L&D and why your skills are highly transferable. It turns out teaching vocabulary translates effortlessly into corporate L&D terms. Seriously, you don't need to reinvent yourself here. You really just need to learn the corporate lingo. Think about it. Your years of lesson planning, that just becomes instructional design. Your students, they simply become employees or learners. Assessing grades turns into evaluating performance outcomes, and managing classroom behavior perfectly translates into stakeholder engagement and change management. You're literally already doing the heavy lifting. We just need to reframe it a bit. And hey, there's a pretty significant financial upside to this transition too. For those making the leap, mid-level L&D specialists are pulling in anywhere between 30,000 and 45,000 pounds, with managerial roles stretching even higher. Even if you're starting fresh, entry-level assistant roles still offer a really solid start at around 20 to 25,000 pounds. It's a field that doesn't just value your educational background, it compensates you highly for it as you grow. Moving into Section 2, Future-Proof L&D Skins and Building Your 2026 Toolkit. Here is a crucial point to understand. Due to AI automation and shrinking budgets, especially across smaller businesses, L&D professionals absolutely cannot afford to act as simple order takers anymore. The days of a manager saying, hey, go make a training video about X, and you just blindly doing it? Yeah, those days are over. Today, you really have to evolve into a strategic business partner. Stakeholders don't just need workshops, they need partners who can spot performance gaps and connect learning directly to revenue and growth. So to future-proof your career, you've got to start with AI literacy and prompt engineering. I mean, this is completely non-negotiable for 2026. We have to transform generative tools like ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot from, fun little novelties into everyday performance multipliers. Once you can prompt AI to automate your content creation, draft policies, or map out skills in literally minutes instead of weeks, you completely free yourself up to do the high-level strategic work. And that's the stuff that actually gets you noticed by the executives. Next up on the list is Learning Experience Design, or LXD. This is where we blend user experience with behavioral science. Think about it. Employees today are totally overloaded with information and always short on time. LXD makes sure that training is directly tied to performance outcomes through interactive simulations and scenario-based practice. It's about people-centric learning journeys, not just forcing employees into passive, one-size-fits-all content consumption that, let's be honest, they're going to immediately forget. You also absolutely need business acumen. Plain and simple, this means understanding exactly how your organization makes money, where it loses money, and what risks threaten performance. When you understand your company's top KPIs, you can align your learning investments directly to those strategic priorities. For example, if sales are down, you don't just build some generic sales course, you dig into the data, find the exact bottleneck, and design targeted coaching to actually fix it. Beyond those big three, your 2026 toolkit really requires dynamic versatility. We're talking about mastering data analytics to prove your value, curating cohesive content ecosystems rather than building every single thing from scratch, guiding change management, and facilitating high-impact sessions, both virtual and in person. Ultimately, it's all about being a versatile, agile partner to the business. Let's jump to Section 3, the Kirkpatrick evaluation model, where we evaluate learning impact. Now, this model is from the 1950s, but it acts as your ultimate blueprint, and I just love the metaphors here. Level 1 is reaction. Think of it as the movie trailer. It measures initial satisfaction with a quick survey. Basically, did they like the training? Level 2 is learning, the toolkit. Did they actually acquire the knowledge? You test this with a quiz or a simulation. Then, level 3 is behavior, the paparazzi. This is where you discreetly observe to see if they're actually changing their behavior back on the job. And finally, level 4 is results, the grand finale. This measures bottom line business results. Did this training actually move the needle for the company?
Which brings us right into Section 4, proving L&D's ROI and speaking the language of the C-suite.
When it comes to proving your value, you really have to track two sides of the coin. First up, your hard metrics. These are your revenue increases, productivity gains, reduced turnover, essentially the stuff that makes your finance team smile. But you absolutely cannot ignore the soft metrics. Things like employee engagement, confidence, and company culture are just as vital, and they actually directly influence those hard numbers. As it turns out, happy employees make the company more money. The most compelling ROI stories are always going to blend both of these together. So to put a strict financial value on these results for your executives, there are a couple of proven frameworks you can use. The Phillips ROI methodology is absolutely perfect for your CFO. It strictly compares the monetary benefits against the costs of your program. But let's face it, numbers alone can be a little dry. That's why you want to pair it with Brinkerhoff's success case method. This lets you tell compelling human stories about your most successful participants alongside your hard data, which really brings those numbers to life. To ground all of this in reality, let's look at a pretty staggering number. A Metrics global study actually found that corporate coaching initiatives can yield a massive 500% return on investment based purely on productivity gains. 500%. And honestly, that number shoots even higher when you factor in staff retention. This just proves that when L&D is done right and it's tied directly to performance, it isn't a cost center at all. It's an absolute growth engine. McKinsey completely backs this up, noting that treating capability building as a top priority directly drives performance. Let me give you a real-world example of this in action. One company managed to save $750,000 simply by retaining 15 high-potential managers through targeted coaching programs. I mean, at a replacement cost of $50,000 each, that is a massive, tangible win for the business. It's the perfect example of translating L&D efforts directly into the language of the C-suite. Well, as we wrap up this explainer on the future of learning and development, I want to leave you with one final challenge. Are you ready to stop just creating courses and start measuring your true impact today? The transition from the classroom to the boardroom is completely within your reach. You just need to arm yourself with the right skills, the right evaluation models, and a laser focus on real business ROI. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope this gives you the exact roadmap you need to thrive in the 2026 L&D landscape.